You hit the 30-minute mark on the treadmill, your lungs are burning, your legs feel like lead, and your brain is screaming at you to hit the stop button. But that overwhelming urge to quit rarely comes from your muscles actually failing. It comes from your mind deciding that it has simply had enough. What happens if, instead of stopping at a perfectly round number, you force yourself to go just a tiny bit further? You don't run another mile. You just stay on for another 22 seconds. You stop at 30 minutes and 22 seconds. Those clean, round numbers we aim for are completely manufactured. We invent these boundaries to give ourselves permission to seek comfort. Thomas Edison noticed this exact tendency in his own work. He observed that many of life's failures are people who did not realize how incredibly close they were to success when they finally gave up. The physical limit is an illusion. The actual barrier is the moment you choose to accept the status quo instead of pushing slightly past it. We don't stop because our bodies break down. We stop because we make the active choice to surrender. That exact same mechanism applies far beyond the gym. It dictates how we handle our daily routines, our careers, and our biggest ambitions. There is a vital distinction between something being simple and something being easy. Walking is simple. Hiking up a steep mountain is also simple. The mechanics of putting one foot in front of the other do not change, but it is certainly not easy. That threshold where a simple task becomes physically or mentally draining is the exact point where actual growth occurs. Yet we constantly convince ourselves that we need perfect conditions to proceed. We wait for the right mood, the right resources, or the flawless plan before taking the next step. In 1998, musician Johnny Rzeznik was at rock bottom. He was navigating a difficult divorce, financially drained and completely paralyzed by severe writer's block. When he was asked to pitch a song for a movie soundtrack, he didn't have a pristine studio or a notebook full of brilliant ideas. He walked into the meeting with exactly 2 unpolished lines of lyrics and a guitar with 2 broken strings. He used those scraps to write the song Iris, which went on to become a massive global hit. Achieving something monumental does not require flawless tools. It requires the willingness to aggressively move forward using whatever broken pieces you currently hold in your hands. Sometimes adversity arrives completely unprovoked. You're walking down the path, minding your own business, and a snake strikes out of the shadows and bites you. Your immediate instinctive reaction is anger. You want to chase that snake into the woods, exact your revenge, and demand justice for the fact that you were wronged. Blaming the world for unfair circumstances feels incredibly satisfying in the moment. It delivers a quick rush of relief because it removes the burden of fixing the problem. But while you are out running through the woods, screaming at the snake, the venom is circulating through your veins. The rational move, the survival move, is to let the snake slither away, sit down, and focus entirely on treating your own wound. This requires absolute ownership. You have to become the architect of your own recovery, even when you did not cause the damage. The universe will be unfair. How you were wronged is ultimately irrelevant. The only metric that dictates the trajectory of your life is how you choose to respond. Now, take that micro-decision, that commitment to pushing just 22 seconds past the pain, and scale it across the next 30 years of your life. When we avoid discomfort, we end up living life in demo mode. We play it safe, keep our world small, and refuse to risk breaking anything to preserve a flawless but entirely empty existence. Imagine 2 seeds in the soil. One stretches its roots into the dark, pushes through the heavy dirt, and grows toward the sun. The other is terrified of the unknown, afraid of damaging its roots, and chooses to stay safely hidden in the ground until a passing chicken picks it out. Refusing to grow carries a fatal cost. The mechanics of personal evolution are straightforward. When you confront a terrifying obstacle and survive it, your brain adapts. You normalize the chaos. The intimidating ceiling you touched yesterday flattens into the ground you walk on today. Your maximum effort is now your new foundation. Stack these new floors, and they compound over the years, constructing a massive reality you wouldn't recognize when you started. Look at your own routine. Find your specific point of friction. Identify your 22 seconds of discomfort and step directly into it. A monumental life is never built overnight. It is nothing more than micro courage, compounded daily. Take that next step. Make today amazing.